So now what are we gonna do? Before we move into different sequences of pinning the hips from inside and using more advanced setups, right, with shoelaces, grip, and etc., we're gonna capitalize, go into the side, and we're gonna talk a little bit about pinning the hips from side control, as we don't have the head, right, against a good guy. So I'm just demonstrating moves against Martin here. I can see his hands are always in a good spot. So what that means, I'm gonna pass his guard right away and cross face him and stuck him? No, I'm not. I'm gonna struggle to get there. But if I own his hips, at some point I'm gonna get access to the head. And this is what you guys should keep in mind. Beat the legs, own the hips, and the upper body will come. The head and shoulders, it's gonna happen naturally, right? Same as being conservative, investing money, you're gonna have money in the future. Don't go crazy, don't buy like coins that go up and down. If you can be rich like that, do it, but mostly we gotta play a conservative game. So in this situation, we're gonna just repeat the same process, and we're gonna talk about how important the hips are for this situation. So we walk into an angle, so I'm dealing here, so shields are gonna come up again, same way, we're gonna bring our elbow inside. So I'm walking inside, the shield comes up, no problem. So we cut the elbow back in place, we have a knee and elbow. So even if this shield is pretty tight on top, it's not gonna be hard for me because his position is not that comfortable to swim my elbow inside. So remember, I have grips, right? So you guys, I saw a few of you guys not gripping. No gi, there's no grips, but in the gi we do have grips. So it's belt, it's jacket here on the back, or pants. Remember to make this grip. So once we walk into an angle, now we have a situation where we are splitting the legs. So you guys can see if Martin tries to cross his ankles, he's just gonna cross the ankles down there, which is pretty easy for me, cut my knee out and pass the guard. But once we pass the guard, so keep your frames up, once we pass the guard, I don't have access to the head. And this is another great example about how important it is to have the idea of pinning the hips. So if my elbow is splitting his hips, as you guys can see, I can maintain top position and I can have my side control. Even though I don't have his head. Side control, IBJJF, you score points by owning the hips, because passing guard is on the hips. So if Martin tries to bring his both legs back in place, so I have my elbow fighting here, his hips. Look at how wrong is my angle. Can you guys see how wrong it is? It's not wrong, right? I'm perpendicular. What do you guys think? Yeah, so I'm using my strength and my grips. My knees on the mats, so this is not good. I can maintain position, but it's not like wow. So what we should do in here, we walk into angle. What's angle? Being 45. So pretty simple, just by stepping up and changing my body position. So now I have my entire body weight fighting Martin's hips. If he tries bringing his legs back in place, you can do your best. It is hard. I just keep, or either my grip, or either I release my grip if I feel like I'm losing it. I keep my body 45, and I use gravity to pin his hips. So I'm leaning against his hips. So this is one way you guys can do that. Inside, across the hips is more advanced, right? So you guys can also use out across the hips like so. So your forearm cutting the entire center. And then you guys can hang on here. If Martin tries to bring his legs back, it's pretty easy to stop him and then have access to the hips, right? So we are holding position strong for a little bit before we make transitions to the upper body. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna adjust side control, and this is super important. This is some like little thing that changes completely the perspective about pinning side control. If we have the situation here again, we can start from there. So I cut my knee out, knee and elbow, right? So, and I try fight his hips by walking back. It's not gonna be hard for him. Yeah, like you guys can see, this is super easy. Everybody here is moving super well. If I try go against the hips with no angle, so it's my strength. So that is why we see big guys doing better job on side control, because they just like, rah, pump. And then like, yeah, they're heavy. They're fucking 100 kilos. Like you're not gonna bench press them, right? But once we are in this position, if I feel I cannot go right away to the hips and pin him, so what I do, build into an angle, I pop up, and we get in this situation. So if I have my head on my wrist, and I'm watching the hips, if Martin tries to bring legs back in place, It's gonna be pretty hard. My position is pretty easy to move around a little bit and then have access to the center. Remember, I didn't touch his, not remember, you guys just watch it. I didn't fight his head. If I forget the hips and fight the head, even easier for him. Frame, shields back, and it's over. So what I do, I target the hips. Because if I own the hips, I have the head. You guys need to keep that. Legs, hips, upper body. I own the hips, everything. Right? Let's give it a shot. 1, 2. And now we have Q&A. Questions you guys have about anything, go ahead.
We had a few serious injuries. How did you manage to overcome them? Come back stronger?
I mean, I kept myself positive. I did the best I could. It was pretty hard. I had 4 surgeries. I had shoulder first from the accident in HCC, and then I had knee and elbow, and then I had shoulder again because my shoulder didn't heal properly. I remember it was after I was teaching classes, and then I got home like 8:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. My doctor called me, hey, you need another surgery. And I don't like drinking much. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get drunk. And then I started like drinking beers. Like 8:30 a.m. I got drunk. It was that dramatic. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, I think I just held myself accountable, had discipline. I spent my time every single day studying about other things that can possibly change my future, like having a school, investing money, real estate, learning about jiu-jitsu, learning about branding, learning about marketing, learning about how athletes they have the last phase of their careers. Because I'm on my last phase now. I just turned 31, so I'm gonna have 3, 4, or 5 more years. How should I handle that situation? Because I already have skills, right? But I need to also make transitions into other areas. How athletes have done this in the past. Not in jiu-jitsu, because in jiu-jitsu we never had very successful athletes because the sport's pretty small. But in other like major sports like basketball, soccer, like how these guys they do that. I spend my time doing these things, so I kept my mind busy. And when you're working, so this is not only myself, but I guess everybody. The more free time you have, the more you think about shit things, you know. So you need to be active, you need to be proactive, you need to be busy. So I just kept myself busy, pretty much that. Waking up, studying, working on my ways, and it was hard, but we always make it through. It's always hard at the time, and then when you look back, you know, it's just a phase.
What advice would you give to people who are not like pro athletes in jiu-jitsu, who are more moderate, to keep going and also to try to better themselves? Because I think if you're a pro athlete or like a high-level competitor, it's easy to say to yourself, I need to get better because I need to get better at competitions. If you're a hobbyist, how do you find the same drive to better yourself?
So I'm gonna use my example first. I'm a competitor. I don't get better to win tournaments. I get better because I do think it's super interesting when you find the right answers for problems that you're facing. So LASSO, build my body 45, hook the right butt cheeks instead of middle of the hips, the right one, the cross one, flare the elbow, all those things I ended up figuring out because my partners, they were giving me reactions that I couldn't handle. And I was like, fuck, I need an answer for that. And this is what is interesting for me about jiu-jitsu. It's not the medal itself. I love winning. I think this is my legacy and I want to compete a few more years. I just love competing. We were talking on the car on the way here, like we're never going to retire. We're going to be like whatever, 55, 60 years old competing still. But I think the interesting part about jiu-jitsu is your ability of, and your chance actually, not ability, is your chance of searching for things to get better every single day. I'm not great at jiu-jitsu, and I'm pretty sure you guys are not as well. If you think you're great, you're just in the wrong sport. Find something else to do, right? So I keep myself motivated because I'm a curious person about doing things right. I'm still thinking my belt camping and my half guard passing still sucks. Like I want to do better, even though I'm doing pretty good. I want to do way, way, way better. I need to have more answers, understand more about the body. And I think a hobbyist has to do the same. A hobbyist, even though you don't have the medal to kind of reward you, like the reward in jiu-jitsu comes from your ability of showing up every single day, first being healthy, second learn about discipline, and third having some thing that is pretty interesting long term. We have black belts here. How long you train jiu-jitsu? 13? Yeah, like how the other black belts here, how long? 9, yeah, like 9, 10 years. I'm pretty sure these guys are still hungry coming here and learning because they suck. And I suck. And yeah, that's true. We all suck, right? But we come over here and we find things that we don't play very well, right? So he wants to learn lasso. He wants to learn deep hiva X. He wants to learn loop choke. We always find things that we want to get better. And I think that is what a hobbyist must focus. Tournaments pretty important. I think everybody should compete, learn how to handle pressure, learn how to put yourself, decide to put yourself in adversity. Because tournament is pretty, it's a bad spot to be. You're competing against another man. I know no one is dying, but it's still, it's uncomfortable spot. But you should focus on developing skills and keep your curiosity pretty high. So jiu-jitsu is never going to get boring and you're always going to be better, no matter if you're a hobbyist or if you're a competitor. Because we have in jiu-jitsu, we have great champions, champions, like with a few world titles who are terrible at jiu-jitsu. And I'm not saying terrible because I hate them or we had rivalry in the past. Terrible because they cannot solve problems. They have 2, 3, 4, 5 good techniques that they ended up having a generational lack that they were able to win titles with. But when you talk about jiu-jitsu overall, they have no clue about what they're doing. They're pretty athletic. They have those 3, 4, 5 techniques that they win titles, 1, 2, 5. I don't know how many world titles they won, but it's pretty much that. We have a lot of examples like that. And I'm pretty sure if you have a little bit of knowledge about jiu-jitsu, you can kind of judge those athletes as well. So it's not about your skill level and being a competitor. It's about how much curiosity you have inside your heart. So jiu-jitsu is never going to get boring, you know? It was a long explanation, but did it make sense?